Welcome back to Timeless Messages from the I Ching, the ancient book of divination and wisdom from China. So if you found this video, there are likely messages in this reading that will help you in your current struggle and your current goal, your current situation, whatever's most paramount forefront in the thinking process in your experience. Whatever is your most concerning issue, whatever you want help or guidance and new perspective with. So the I Ching helps tune into the feminine and masculine energies, and it reflects the information that the viewer needs to hear. Based on how the coins lie down on the silk, this determines a feminine, a broken line, or a masculine, a solid line. I'll cast the coin 3 times. Before I cast the coins, I'm always focusing on the question, what is the most beneficial information for the viewer? What is the most beneficial information for the viewer? This is a timeless reading, therefore don't pay attention to the date that it's published. It's of no relevance. And also don't pay attention to the numerical sequence of these videos. They're not to be watched in sequence like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you find a video and it's numbered 52, great. Listen to it, because your unconscious being, your unconscious mind that's tapped into the divine wisdom, the divine life force has guided you here for a reason. So without further ado, let's get started. And I'm going to pick up the coins and I'm going to ask over and over again, what are the most beneficial messages for the viewer? Most beneficial messages for the viewer. Most beneficial messages for the viewer. Most beneficial messages for the viewer. So 3, 4, 5, 3, 6, 8. And that's a yin line, which is a line that's broken in the center. Most beneficial messages for the viewer. 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 Okay, what do we have? 3, 6, 7, 8. Same thing. Yin line, broken line, feminine line. Most beneficial messages for the viewer. Most beneficial messages for the viewer. Okay. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. That's a yang line, masculine line, solid line. Most beneficial messages for the viewer. Most beneficial messages for the viewer. Yep. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Another yin broken line. Feminine. Most beneficial messages for the viewer. Most beneficial messages for the viewer. Most beneficial messages for the viewer. Okay. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's a masculine line, solid line, yang line. Most beneficial messages for the viewer. 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 Okay. 3, 6, 8. Another broken line. Okay, feminine. Yin. Okay. So I'm going to pick up the text and begin to read. Again, please pay attention to what it is that's most pressing, most relevant to your process right now, what you're most concerned with. So before we actually read the text, the first 3 lines are the first upper trigrams. The second 3 lines are the lower trigram. Tri meaning 3. So yin, yang, yin, or yin, yang, yin. Okay. Feminine, masculine, feminine. So let's look here. Feminine, masculine, feminine. That's Kan, K''A''M. Okay. Put this actually right over here. Kan. The Bottom three are yang, yin, yin. Or yang, yin, yin, however you want to pronounce it. And that is Ken. Yang, yin, yin, Ken, right there. Okay. Now let's line those up. So Kan and Ken. Kan at the top, Ken at the bottom. That would be 39. Okay. 39. Let's find out what that is. Okay, it's obstruction. Okay, that's the name of the hexagram. In English, the Chinese is Qian. I'll write that down too, why not? Qian. Qian. Interpreted in English as obstruction. So here we go. Just relax and I'll read this. The top three trigrams are the abysmal water, and below are Ken, keeping still the mountain. So water on the top of the mountain. This hexagram pictures a dangerous abyss lying before us and a steep, inaccessible mountain rising behind us. We are surrounded by obstacles. At the same time, since the mountain has the attribute of keeping still, there is implicit a hint as to how we can extricate or free ourselves. The hexagram represents obstructions that appear in the course of time, but that can and should be overcome. Therefore, all the instruction given is directed to overcoming these obstructions. The judgment. Obstruction. The southwest furthers. The northeast does not further. It furthers one to see the great man. Perseverance brings good fortune. The southwest is the region of retreat, the northeast that of advance. Here, an individual is confronted by obstacles that cannot be overcome directly. In such a situation, it is wise to pause in view of the danger and to retreat. However, this is merely a preparation for overcoming the obstructions. One must join forces with friends of like mind and put himself or herself under the leadership of a person equal to the situation. Then one will succeed in removing the obstacles. This requires the will to persevere, just when one apparently must do something that leads away from his goal or her goal, which is the idea of retreat. This unswerving inner purpose brings good fortune in the end, though, and an obstruction that lasts only for a time is useful for self-development. This is the value of adversity. I'll read that once more. An obstruction that lasts only for a time is useful for self-development. This is the value of adversity. The image, water on the mountain. The image of obstruction. Thus the superior man turns his attention to himself and molds his character. Difficulties and obstructions throw a man or woman back upon themselves. While the inferior person seeks to put the blame on other persons, lamenting and bewailing their fate, the superior person seeks the error within themselves. And through this introspection, the external obstacle becomes for them an occasion for inner enrichment and education. So just to recap, that's the end of that particular message on obstruction. The idea of retreat is important, but retreat just in pause of the danger, because the situation essentially, because the obstacles are not allowing forward progress, it's important to retreat and have some time for introspection. But this indeed is only a preparation for overcoming such obstructions. And it was mentioned that it's important for this person who this message applies to join forces with friends of like mind and to put themselves under the leadership of a person equal to the situation, perhaps a mentor, perhaps someone who you've been able to share with before, a guide. This can require the will to persevere, but even though you have to retreat somewhat, this is apparently what you must do in the beginning, because you need the time to preserve yourself, to protect yourself, and so that the process of obstruction, removing the obstruction, can bring good fortune in the end. And you can combat this obstruction with the proper tools and perhaps with the guidance of another person. Again, this obstruction is only for a time, and it's useful for self-development, and this is the value of adversity. So obstruction does indicate some form of adversity. So looking at this in the positive, difficulties and obstructions will help a person to reflect upon themselves, their behavior, their process, rather than creating lamenting and bewailing and complaining about the particular situation. The superior person is going to seek the solution or the error within themselves. And through this process of introspection or meditation, this external obstacle becomes, for this person, an opportunity for enrichment and education and empowerment. So I hope this message has spoken to you today. The message again is obstruction, taking time, being introspective, retreating, gathering your energy, finding people of like mind that can help guide you through the process if need be, and seeking the error or the solution within yourself, rather than blaming others or the situation. If you're interested in a private I Ching timeless reading for yourself, please feel free to get in touch. The information on private readings is in the description box. Thanks again for tuning in, and take care.